Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. I'm your brother Oga from Hip Hop News Uncensored. Sitting across from me is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam Ant, Viral Hip Hop News. We're in the building. We are live. We're on the Uncensored Truth official channel. Brother Oga, what's good, man?
What's good, man? Excited to be in the building tonight. You know, it's a good show tonight, man. We've been talking about this show, planning this show, you know, ready just to talk about this, you know, by popular demand. The people, you know, are blowing up our inboxes, Facebook, you know, YouTube comment section. Said we want to hear what you have to say about Dr. Umar Johnson announcing that he bought a school building in Delaware. So we here, we got a panel, you know, of the brothers, you know, some real respectable businessmen in their own right. And I can't wait to get to this one tonight, Sam, man.
Yeah, man, we're very excited. But before we do, you know how we do live every Friday evenings, drop those area codes in the building. We're excited to be here. Make sure you hit that like button. We want to know where y'all at in the building. I see ATL is in the building. Cool. What it do? I seen Jersey's always in the building. 330 was good. Let me grab my stuff so I can see y'all real quick. Chi-Town in the building. Yes, the sir. Bay Area 510. Oakland in the building. What's up, everybody? 813-718-610. DC in the building, 252.
Okay.
Camden all day, Jersey.
Yes, I'm gonna ask y'all to do one thing. Everybody coming in, just go ahead and share the link. Go ahead and press the share button, whether it be on your Facebook page. Let everybody know that we're live. We're about to get it in tonight, man. Just have a real professional, you know, grown man discussion, you know, about this, and kind of just be done with it after this. I think after this, you know, it'll be a closed curtain. And we can move on to some great things.
I'm ready. We're ready to do that. And like we were talking about when the news came out last week and how everyone was kind of knee jerking to want us to kind of respond and was like, no, we're businessmen first. We got things to take care of first. It was a great week of hip hop. It was a great week of issues to talk about within the community and just intertwining the two like we often do and we love to do. So we had to take care of that first, let all the chips fall and all the dice settle as how they had to. And Friday night's here and we here. We're going to address it.
This episode tonight is sponsored by IamMoreMovement.org. You see the sweatshirt right there. Go to IamMoreMovement.org. Go support my brother right there with his organization, his youth organization, you know, in New Jersey, man. Yeah. So we have tonight, man, you know, as we know, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, Sam Ant, you know, me, CEO, Hip Hop News Uncensored, my brother, Darren Marion, you know, Retail SEO, Darren's Coffee, and Kansu, Shezmu Amun, you know, numerous businesses that he has in the financial field. Just here to talk about this tonight, man. We think that, you know, we talked about it before on a few different occasions. So I think that this is needed. I saw a lot of commentary throughout the internet. And I think there's a lot of missing points that people are either scared, not really covering. So I was like, you know what, let's get the team together and really, you know, talk about this, man, because this is important. You know what I mean? Important, you know, thing that's going on right now. So definitely.
Absolutely, man. And like we talked about early on, I think the initial conversation and commentary began on Umar right after January 1st when the announcement didn't come. And we both had a private conversation amongst each other, like, damn, the conversation didn't, or the announcement didn't come. Both being at that time supporters, having our conversation, but still at that point, up until that point, supporters until we had the conversation. They're both kind of individually kind of coming together and going, yeah, man, this may be something more to this story than meets the eye. We may have to kind of fall back on that. And then we still waited a couple more days just to give them the benefit of the absolute benefit of the doubt, even though we kind of knew at that point. And then we did the video and then we came to this point. So we just want to give a real raw perspective to the situation, have an open door for everyone to be engaged. In Umar supporters, Umar people that can't stand him and think that he's a fraud. Everyone's allowed to be involved in the conversation. We're gonna lay all the chips on the table. Like Oga said, we got a dynamic panel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Aboriginal consultant in the building, Retail SEO in the building. So very excited, man.
Absolutely. So you know, I guess we'll start off, you know, first, you know, one thing that we will say is that you know, we did see that there was a deed to the building made to an organization, you know, that we can assume is Dr. Umar Johnson, you know, for one. So I just want to open up the panel for the brothers, you know, to just give an opening, you know, on how they feel about, you know, this recent building announcement. Either one of you brothers are welcome to go first.
Frankly, I think it's a sham. I think it's an opportunity to get over on people, to hide money, to hide what's been going on for the past 10 years, not 4, not 5, like some people are saying, but actually close to 10 years. Um, and I honestly, it's sickening to see how we as black people are being hoodwinked and kind of falling in and saying, all right, hey, this guy has a school, when in actuality, all he does is have a building. Well, he doesn't even have a building yet that we know of. We could just see, we see a couple things. We saw him, doing an infomercial just like he did at St. Paul's College. Just like he did, except this was in a building when it looks like things were a bit staged. Because if you go back and look at the gymnasium, it just so happened there were cones there, there were basketball laying there, and it's a joke at how easily I can see, man, I can see just with the way that he's handled this and the way that we have been handled. I can see how we could get on to Jesus Lubeck, and next thing you know, end up over here in the hells of the transatlantic slave trade. Because if we're able to get duped this easily, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I kind of want to step outside of the Pan-African, color paradigm, because that's what's being used to facilitate what I think is a sham as well. I'm a financier. I'm one of the few black financiers in the country. I take a lot of pride on being a financial consultant, and my portfolio is quite impressive over the last 15 years. I take pride in that. I take pride in being, a venture capitalist. I have various businesses that I invest in, and one thing I understand is real estate. And when you are purchasing a building, a commercial building, the first step is, where's the escrow account? Where is the escrow account to protect that money in the event of taxation? Because Umar Johnson could have a personal life like we all do. He could get in trouble, and that money could be garnished. That money has to be protected. So what is the corporate veil structure that's set up for the money? Number two, when we're talking about that building and we're talking about a name on a deed, then he should easily be able to show the organization and that it was filed in Maryland, an article of organization that justifies he owns that company. Because if it was an organization that bought that building and it's a commercial building, the organization has to be made public. So I don't want to, all that other stuff is not fundamentally sound. And it preys on the minds and the hopes of people that are already impoverished. When we ask simple questions, we cannot get direct answers. We've yet to see the building. We saw an infomercial and a so-called deed. That does not justify ownership, guys. Not after purportedly 4 years of raising $789,000. There's no justification in the expenditure of that money.
Right, and that's the issue, here. It's been a brother who was a staunch supporter who's been going back and forth with me on Facebook. Like, he made it a point to go into my inbox and say, look, you're a hater. He got the building. And I'm saying, oh, well, how much did you pay for the building? How much did y'all pay for the building? He refused to answer the question. I'm like, what's the secret? If you collected, this money for the people to do a job, and you're supposed to be, and I want you brothers to elaborate on a nonprofit organization as well. You're supposed to be a nonprofit. You're supposed to be accountable. If I'm not, I want you brothers to elaborate on that. If he's a nonprofit organization, are his books supposed to be open for public scrutiny? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, as a nonprofit, he's a corporation of the people. So that's a nonprofit is a people's corporation, which is why they receive those tax benefits in order to be open like they are, and to receive to receive those benefits, because they're going through that extra set of scrutiny. That's why they have to fill out this great big packet of forms to show that this is a valid organization, so the people can trust this organization to bring in nonprofit work. So the government gives the nonprofit tax beneficial status because it's supposed to be an economic stimulus. So yeah, man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's like it got me. It got me kind of fired up, man.
Yeah, definitely. When you're dealing with nonprofit, oh God, full disclosure is the first requirement, bar none. Full disclosure, because you're dealing in federal money. It's a tax haven. You're supposed to be able to use the non-for-profits as write-offs because those people donate to the non-for-profit. So yeah, most definitely, those are public entities.
All right, I'm going to switch the narrative real quick because we're going to have an in-depth conversation. You guys just sit back and really be patient with this whole situation, because I see a lot of people in the comments, because I'm watching it on here, and I see a lot of Umar supporters in here. And we started off saying that we're going to have a 360-degree spectrum. So I'm going to ask a question coming from an Umar perspective. He bought a building. He bought a school. It's something that we can look to. Why are we hating right now? Because I'm seeing a lot of that in here. I'm seeing a lot of bias. I'm seeing a lot of people assuming that we're biased toward a situation. And I don't want that to be the narrative steer. Let's have everybody engaging in this conversation right now, because this is what's going on in here. So we're hating. Let's all talk on the fact. I want everyone in the panel right now to answer the question of, you're a hater of Umar Johnson. Why aren't we happy that he's building a school? Why are we tearing down this black brother right now?
Well, I would say that, one, I'm not a hater of Umar Johnson, actually a supporter of Umar Johnson. I believe in black schools. I believe in the education of young black boys. My wife's an educator. My father-in-law is an educator. I'm involved with a charter school here in the hood, where we've been able to take funds from the community and to be able to bring in kids and to get kids educated. I believe in the mission. And I've been nothing but a supporter of Umar Johnson. I mean, if anyone is going to say he's going to be the voice. He has a potential, or had the potential, to be the voice of the people. The way he went on the Breakfast Club and represented, oh man, it was unparalleled, man. It was unparalleled. So if anything, first I went from being, alarmed to upset to disappointed to pissed off. So
Yeah, you're very accurate. And me myself, I can attest too, actually, going out to New York, Philly, Delaware, going to, meet this brother and try to be available any way I could to help further what he was trying to do. Money, buying whatever. I don't have to get into the whole spill. So even opening up my platform on many different occasions for him to continue to spread his message. So we've been supporters the whole time, but we're also businessmen. And we also know, when something looks a little bit shady, when somebody's trying to move a little bit shady, especially with the people's money, why is he treating it like it's a private venture? This is the private venture. It's your own money. You create your own money. It's a little bit different. You still should be held accountable, but it's just a little bit different. Having corporations, you have to run your books in certain ways. We didn't even get to, all right, he has the building. We didn't even get to the budget for the teachers, and we'll get to that. The janitorial staff, the insurance on the building, the children. There's a whole bunch of things that people are not really looking at in this situation, and they're putting the cart before the horse. And we can see that Dr. Umar, he's not a real experienced businessman. He's not really thinking things through, because even the money that he's asking for right now wouldn't theoretically be enough for just the first year of operation for a building of that magnitude. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. Oh God, I'm not going to allow. I'm unapologetically black, and I'm intelligent and black, and I'm not going to be forced into being ignorant if I've been in business longer than Umar Johnson been speaking. And I don't get all the press, and I think it's offensive to black business owners that somebody like him can come half-cocked on a serious situation. Where's the website? You could have an online school. You could get a PhD online right now. In 2019, it's uneconomical to have a brick and mortar building that is gutted out without a payroll, without insurance, without tax encumbrances. I'm sorry. You hate me for being intelligent, and I happen to be black. I'm sorry. I'm a black businessman, and I'm going to use my head. You don't have a website, Umar. You don't have you could have started the online school right now. You could have had a full curriculum in place, and you could have been teaching children with all those lame-ass live videos that you pop up when you're snapping on Sonetta, when you're getting mad at all the other Cox community heroes while you're cussing them out, you could have been teaching children online. So I don't want to hear that. That's contrived. And I'm going to stand on that.
Right. My issue is, what happened to the children? What happened to the children? Because I hear a lot of rhetoric. I hear a lot of rah, rah, rah. But what happened to the motherfucking kids? And let's just keep it real, because anytime it's a victory, it's look at what I did and damn the haters. It's never about the children. And this is why I don't think it's authentic and I don't think it's genuine. When I think back on all the times he talked about being a leader, holding yourself accountable, being able to have certain levels of leadership within the Black community, and those levels of leadership being able to be debated because we need the number one person there. And those words resonating with me as being a supporter of Umar Johnson through the years of 2015, 16, and really listening to what this man was saying and really engaging with it. It was dope.
Right.
And now listening to what he's saying right now, and if somebody donating money to this man cannot even ask him a question without them being blocked, without them being blackballed, without them being known as a coon or this or that, because they simply asked you a question. You're dealing with Black folk. I talked about you with this all the time. How many times can you go and borrow money from a Black person, anybody in your family, and hold that shit for 10 years and not get a question? You got a month, maybe, the good ones. And then you got to be like, yo, what's up? It just is what it is. It's like, that's who we are. You tell me anybody in the chat room that's going to let their money hold that bread for that long, any one of your family members, and not ask a question. He's supposed to be opening up the school for children. We're not supposed to ask. That's all we simply say. And a man of honor would simply go back and go, listen, guys, I apologize I appreciate your patience. I apologize here. And you ain't got to tell everybody, to your donors, to whoever. Here's X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Right. Have faith, blah, 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 blah. Like we said on the podcast earlier, January 1st came around. We did the video, 5th or 6th or whatever. If Dr. Umar Johnson, because he has your contact information, you've been to his lectures, he knows exactly who you are, hit you up as one of the biggest media podcast platforms right now on YouTube and said, look, man, I heard what you said. My fault. Listen, I got XYZ. Everything's cool. Just have faith in me, brother, and make sure I got you everything. That video would have been down. Let's just keep it 100. The video would have been gone, because in that faith alone, being an honorable man, that would have been taken care of. But he didn't do it. Now we're enemies. Now we're this. And y'all want that man to teach your children? Where's his honor? And that's my issue. Yeah,
definitely. I could definitely, agree. And it's like, I want to ask you brothers, looking at this, as intelligent Black businessmen, what reason first, because the deed, we've seen the deed, which there's a couple misspellings on the deed. And we seen that it was a purchase for $10. That's what it said. I mean, that's on record. So we can say that it was Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Leadership Academy was the, I think, the grantee, right? So what reason would somebody get rid of a building for $10? Could y'all elaborate on that? What knowledge do you have with that? Either one of you brothers or both? It's cool.
First thing I thought was, when I saw it was a land contract, I said, okay, so they must be giving them some sort of consideration to say, all right, a year from now, we'll be able to refinance, and you'll be able to show that you have a viable business to have some sort of financing in order to acquire this building. That's the first thing I thought, is when I said, okay, $10, that's a land contract. And that's how I treat it. And I said, well, that's still not the purchase of a school. That's not a purchase of a building. That's kind of really like a rent to own. And that from what I understand, that's actually what it is. So, Consul.
Yeah, man, it's more than likely a land contract or it's a tax seizure, one of the two. When you have misspellings on a deed, that's just unacceptable. On a deed, you're not going to have misspellings, bro. And again, where are the attorneys? Where are the attorneys that are speaking on behalf of the matter? Because Umar Johnson is not qualified to transfer a real estate deal. He is a historian and a psychologist. So anybody that's responsible with other people's money, you hire a professional to handle the process. So where is the RSS feed that talks to the public through an attorney where other outlets like yourself can access what they do publicly. Because if you are a public entity, you should be tied into an RSS feed so that when you do things, you're accountable to the public, like Associated Press. So it gives credibility to the organization when you do that. Other organizations do it, so it's not something that it's contrived. The Congressional Black Caucus, anytime they do anything, they give a notice to the AP, Associated Press, and it goes out to everybody. So I'm not trying to hear contrived lies. If he cannot justify anything outside of a misspelled deed, then what we're looking at, guys, is money laundering. Where is the $789,000? And now you're still asking for $1 million more. Honestly, anybody that's financing a project like that, you're looking at about 3.2 million. And that's bare minimum. That's the first year to operate a school like that. It's about 3.2 million.
Easily. If you just did the basic numbers, just basic math, from what the payroll would look like, from what the students would look like, from what uniforms would look like, from what school lunches would look like, all of that easily would be $3 million.
Yeah, definitely. So we're here. We're at this, Consul, said that now he came back on the video and pretty much said, look, we need $1 million for renovations. So, okay, that's fine. So we say as businessmen, as investors, let's sit in the investment seat now. We want to invest. Sandman has 2,500. I got 25. These two brothers got 2,500. We want to put into it. Where's the itemized, that says, okay, we need this for chairs, this for computers, this for the staff, this for this. Don't you think that we deserve to see that, where the money's going to go before people give you their hard-earned money? For businessmen reach into their pocket and give you money, we deserve to see a fucking business plan. Brothers, talk about the lack of a business plan not being shown to anybody. It's not been shown to anybody at this point. Talk about that. How important is it to have a business plan? It's essential going into a project like this. Can somebody elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, man. It's in order to have, without planning for your business, you're going to plan to fail. And I know for a fact that I've reached out. I literally reached out to, Umar Johnson and said, hey, I would love to lend whatever abilities that I have, whatever my company, to be able to help in whatever way possible to help this be a success. And without a response. In order to be successful, you have to be able to project out your finances at least 5 years. If you don't get any kind of bank financing, the bank or SBA financing, anything, any type of investment money, they're going to need to see what that plan looks like, at least a 3-year plan. And if you come to us and you've already asked us for, $789,000, he asked for another $1 million, and you still haven't shown a plan, now I start to worry and I start to say, okay, what is this guy doing? Who is this? Who's giving him his advice? Who's his counsel? Who is he going to say, all right, my money is, I remember I would hear him say, my money's in a money market. Well, at the time, money markets were only paid at 1%. Inflation's at 3%. So he was losing 2% if that money was sitting in a money market.
See what I'm saying? See, that just shuts it down. What's crazy is you got to have profit and loss. When you present to me a business plan, I need a 5-year perspective. Now we're talking about a school, and oh God, you came with a scenario of me being an investor. My goal is what percentage or what rate of return is my investment going to yield? So if I'm dealing with a school, schools don't generally make money. They pull finances in donations and things of that nature. They offer tax breaks because most of them are non-for-profit. Even if the school is private, there's no school that organically substantiates itself. What I mean is it's always going to be a board or organization funding the school because schools don't generate money. They're not a direct sales exchange entity like a department store or auto shop. We're talking about a school. So when you're talking about stuff like that and you're asking for donations that are not identified as tax markers, Now you're getting into some really troubling waters because you can't explain where that money comes from. If the income tax is applied, they're going to say, if the federal government asks him a question, where did you get this money from? Well, they're donations. Well, could you justify the donations? He can't present a GoFundMe receipt to them in his name. That's absolutely ludicrous. Or if another female pops up and says something derogatory about him and sues him, she could sue him and garnish all his wealth and freeze everything. You don't risk that kind of level of money. You just don't take risks like that.
Let's talk about the $780,000 or $750,000 as donations to your knowledge. Would a certain percentage of that be taxed? Would the IRS be looking for that to be taxed, or is that tax-free because it's donations?
They're expecting tax shelter. They're expecting anyone who invests to write against it as debt. They expect people, it's no way in the hell I'm going to invest in a school that I can't write off my investment. That would be just absolutely crazy. So everybody that invested or gave that money to GoFundMe couldn't even write it off. He didn't even have enough sense to create a shelter so people get a bonus for investing. If I'm an organization that's investing or pooling money, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to say, oh God, I can help you shelter some money. The more you invest, you'll be able to get back at a percentage. That's awesome. But to just say, oh, I want you to spend money with me is a merchant scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. I'm spending money on that school and I'm getting nothing in return. I just took a loss and somebody else is gambling with my money. That's what that means.
I got a basic business question real quick for the people that just don't know, us ignorant people, you know what I mean? I want to look up a business. I don't know how to do it. How easy is it for me to go ahead and simply type it in on the internet? Is it easy for me to do, the normal guy that has no idea how to do it business-wise? Is it normal for me to go and look up somebody's business information online? If I say I had a question, whether I wanted to publicize it or not, is it easy for me to do?
Yes, very easy.
How do I do so?
You go to the state secretary of state's office, wherever you get a business license. You go to their website and it'll say, type in your business name. Even if you did a Google search and said, find out if a business is in existence, find out about a business. Is there a business in this state? Every time it's going to give you a key right to the Secretary of State's office where you can type in that business. You can type in whatever entity name you believe it to be. And then, of course, it'll give you an answer.
And that's for any state in America. You could do that anywhere. I can type in somewhere. If I'm looking up a business in Iowa, Indiana, Jersey, Chicago, or Illinois, excuse me, anywhere, Texas, whatever, I could simply just type in their place and do that?
Yes.
So if anybody would have a question on the regards of the business plan, or excuse me, his business, his EIN, not his EIN number, but the legitimacy of his business, exactly, that could be looked up. Even if people that are on the fence, people that are supporters, anybody on their private time, they could look that up.
For free.
For free. Mm-hmm. I've looked up FDMG, FSMG. I've looked up a number of them. You can look them up for yourself. It's that easy. We just got told. I found nothing.
Me either.
Now, I looked up your corporation, my corporation. We had fun. We were looking up different corporations. All those popped up. We looked up his numerous times. We did it for a week. Nothing popped up. Can y'all speak on why, or speak on how we can see a deed presented? We can see it through the state of Delaware, but we can't find any information on FDMG, FSMG, or whatever the case, being a registered business.
You want to go ahead, Constance?
Yeah, I didn't hear the question again. Could you repeat that again, Sam?
Yeah, yes, sir. I said so we see on the deed that it is written out to FSMG, FDMG, whatever the case. Umar Johnson's business is under FDMG Academy. Mm-hmm. So when you look that up through the state of Delaware, nothing comes up. So can you explain that or elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, the business is a shell business. It's not an act of good faith. That means that the business is not willing to allow itself to be open to prosecution. Usually banks and any other federal institution, financial institution, respect businesses that are willing to put themselves in the public. That's the purpose of gaining articles of incorporation or articles of organization. You have two separate things. The FDMG should have an article of incorporation in Delaware, and then the organization that's formed under it should be an article of organization, which are two separate fees. What that shows is the integrity of the business should a lawsuit arise. That should be in place. So that doesn't mean the business doesn't exist now. FDMG could exist, but it tells you right there, why would you not register in the state that you're in, especially making a commercial purchase? That raises a big red flag.
And then furthermore, if he was, let's say he was in Pennsylvania, right? Let's say he had offices in Pennsylvania and the school was actually being opened up in Delaware. He should be form qualified as an entity in either Pennsylvania or in Delaware. And then he should be qualified as an entity in Delaware. So those are two places, even if he was in Pennsylvania and Delaware, those are two places where he should be licensed. Has that happened?
And that's, I was actually searching, I was looking a company, I think it was K12, and in any charter school, and you can see, you go on their website, you see the board, you see the president, you see the CEO, you see their mission, goal, you see all this stuff. You don't find, just regular things like this with Umar Johnson's, his thing he got going on. Why is that? I mean, like you guys alluded to a website. You can't find these things. Like, it appears like it's just him trying to, do what? I don't know what with the money. You know what I mean? But it's not open up a school at this point. So speak to that, brothers, if you can, please.
Like I said, I'm not sure really what he's trying to do. What it would appear from looking outside is that he's trying to hide something. And it's at this point, it doesn't make much sense because it's over with. The time is up. The 14th was yesterday. So even though he did announce early, he was still supposed to announce on the 14th. So again, he's not living up to his commitment or his honors to the people. If he says he's going to do something, when he's going to do it, then he needs to do it. He's asking us to give this money, to give our black boys to him, to be able, and I cannot stress how serious that is to be able to say that I'm going to give my child, I'm going to give this young mind, this is going to be a future leader. I'm going to give this to this man to let this man mold these people. He should be held to the utmost levels, man. I mean, he should be exemplary. I mean, if he's named, that's what I'm. Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey. These were stately men.
Talk about it.
Yeah, correct. I mean, when you're talking about a staff that's going to be educating children, you're going to have some decorated people. You're going to have qualified people. We don't know who they are. We don't know what that budget entails. So what it sounds like is Umar Johnson is winging this. What it sounds like is he's hedging money, meaning he's kind of double dipping. He's taking the money, probably paying his own bills with it, his own expenses. He made it abundantly clear in his last stream that he doesn't want anyone to send money that is not intent for the school. He stated that if you're going to send money for my personal expenses, send it to this account. So he's already been met with some resistance. So that is a telltale sign that he does not have the right infrastructure to educate him. And unfortunately, for that brother, he will not check his own ego. That's what really got me nervous, is that he's not understanding that he needs some professionals in the midst. He's really trying to wing this on his own. That's what it really looks like. And he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble. That's what's going to happen. Right. And everyone's just going to be out of the money. If he went to jail today, no one gets their money back at all.
That's what we said. Like, how easy would it be? And I want you to speak to this, Khan, too. Like, if he were, operating under a nonprofit, status, how would he be able to actually use that money, you know, he wouldn't be able to use that money personally, right? Or how he would have to pay himself. Could you speak on how it should be run, the academy, as opposed to how he's running it right now?
What he should have done, he should have retained the law firm, which would be the trustee. The money goes in a trust. His organization becomes the trustor. The public becomes the beneficiary. The lawyer, as the trustee, will disperse the res, which is the collateral of the trust. The money that was collected would be the res. The trustee would have instructions to only disperse that money in the event of attaining a school or anything associated with that. So he would not even have access to the money. The lawyer himself, which would be an escrow attorney, would have an escrow account that is non-interest bearing. No interest is accrued. It is just used as a receptacle to hold that money. To collect it with GoFundMe is highly irresponsible. Highly irresponsible. He would have had less fees. They wouldn't have charged 2.9%. He wouldn't have had any fees taxed onto the money. That's absolutely ludicrous. Any investor, anybody in business would have laughed him out of the building.
Indeed. I mean, well, we're in minute 40 right now. We're going to get the phone lines open because we do got a phone line. So I'm going to drop that in here right now for anybody who will want to call in and get a perspective. Umar supporter, Umar detractor, whoever you may be right now in the building, you can drop that. I'll get that in there real. Let me drop that in there right now. Oh, God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The number will be right there in the chat. You know what I mean? Real quick, if you want to call in, you know, we'll take a few, you know, and let the brothers stay on the panel here and answer some questions. So we're definitely not done tonight. But if you're listening, you know, hit that like button and make sure you share this video real quick. We're talking about Dr. Umar Johnson's, you know, school announcement. He said that he bought a building, you know, out in Delaware. But also he asked for another $1 million for repairs. So essentially still asking for more money. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But yeah, the phone lines, you know, are open. You know what I mean? So please make sure, you know, that you know, y'all call in. I'm in a quick, you know, chat room. I want to leave a quick, you know, little thing. If y'all believe that Umar is going to open the school, hit 1. If you don't believe that Umar's going to open the school, hit 2. I just want to get the consensus, you know, of the crowd in here today. 1, open the school. 2, not opening the school. If y'all could do that in the chat room, you know what I mean, right now, definitely. Yes, sir.
Indeed, man. I'm just dropping that number in there right now. But yeah, man, I think we got a good conversation. We might have a call in right now. Let's see what we got. Hey, what's good, man? You're going live with the Uncensored Shoot Pot. My bad. There we go. Hello, what's good? You're live with the Uncensored Shoot Podcast. State your name and city, big dog.
Hey, what's up? My name is T. I live out here in Pittsburgh, and you know, I'm a big fan. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, and at the same time, I also like Umar based on his knowledge base. Now, in terms of the school, I've been hearing a lot of information about Umar being a fraud and whatnot. I mean, how authentic is that? Like, in terms of, is it like evidence? I mean, I hear a lot of assumptions, but do anybody have an actual fact that, you know, this guy's actually legit? Is he a fraud? If that's the case, why don't they just take him to court? You know what I mean? To like send him to jail. You know, that's my question.
So your question is there any proof? Yeah, it's a lot of proof.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's a lot of proof, but I was letting you elaborate.
Yeah, because if it's legitimately a fraud, why don't he get held accountable? I guess you guys saw the I think it was in the news. If you guys know Zaza Ali about her, it was something about her, you know, collecting funds from people and not doing what she's supposed to do. She got held accountable for that. When the people that donated to Umar, can they hold him accountable and take him to court so he can at least answer up to those donors?
Got you. So he's basically he's asking right now, when is Umar going to, if it is fraud or if it is something illegitimate like we're all assuming or suspecting, when is he going to be held accountable on, I guess, a federal level? Thanks for your question, man. We're gonna have to get off. I got another caller, but we want to answer that real quick.
Yeah, one of your brothers want to take that?
Call from.
You say, when is he going to be held accountable? I mean, he's being held accountable now.
Right.
It's just the people who are being held, or holding him accountable are being called coons, Uncle Toms, Sambos, sellouts, haters. You know, so if that's what's going on. We're trying to hold him accountable. We're trying to say, hey, kid, hey.
Right.
We over here, Umar, the last thing I want to see is a black man go to jail, man.
Facts.
I want to see Umar open a school.
Yep.
He could open up a correspondence school tomorrow. And I would be okay. I'd be great. He could open up, he could do a correspondence school, man. Dr. Umar Johnson Correspondence School Academy. That would be more than what we have now. And that's what hurts.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
You know what? I mean, I had a question real quick as I was going through there, and I kind of lost my train of thought. I apologize on that. We got another caller.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I'll take that caller. Hey, what's good? You're live on the Uncensored True podcast. State your name and city, man. Malachi from Milwaukee. Peace, man. You're live. What's your comment?
My comment is, I just feel like if people asking questions, why don't he just defend himself instead of actually just throwing people out the door and cussing people out and just dissing people? Because if it's me opening the school, I want to have the black people on my side. I want to show them, like, look, they want the paperwork? Boom, here it is. No questions. Y'all giving me y'all money, y'all trusting me with it, then I'm opening up and being like, hey, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on with it so you can actually help me. You can follow and see what's going on. So I'm just confused. I want to say it's going to happen, but at the same time, man, I really don't know. I'm just confused at the moment, to be honest with you.
And is that wrong with being confused? Are you a coon or you this or that for being confused? That's a legitimate question and a man of honor. And that's what I was alluding to. Why wouldn't you want to answer that question and get the black people on your side? It seemed like the more people asked, the more he tried to divide, which made me just further think it was all about him. It had nothing to do with the school. I see a lot of people in the comments still saying that he's not getting enough support to open the school, giving the fact that we're giving up on him and he still has potential and he still legitimately wants to. I question the fact that if he even wants to do it at all. I really do. Mm-hmm. So anybody that supports him, answer that question, please, on that. But go ahead, brother. Keep continuing if you must.
Oh, no, that's all I had. I just wanted to call in and say good show, man. And I'm listening. I'm following through. And I like what y'all doing. I love y'all topics.
Hey, man, we appreciate the call. Thank you, brother.
And here's what I want to say real quick before we move on. Appreciate that call. It's like you got brothers that want to donate, brothers that want to, that's the tax write-off. Any guy with a business, you throw $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Okay, that's a write-off. Okay, that's cool. And you helping the kids. We want to do that all day, but we don't want to put our money to unfertile ground like that and put it into a project that we see is destined to fail. We see it. We see that the person at the head of that is incompetent. You know what I mean? And as a reputable businessman, you would want to show all that. Look, because if he was smart, he would get way more support with his books open and showing people as opposed to trying to hide it. Now you're building up skepticism. And because at the point, nobody was saying nothing. But now you turn around, there's hundreds of videos on YouTube going at this guy now because he won't be transparent with the people's money. This is the underlying issue. He refuses to be transparent with the people's money. If it's your money, that's a different story. You collected people's money to do a job. You won't show them. You won't even show them how much you so-called brought this building for. Looks like a fraud still, brother. That's what I got to say.
And if you ain't man enough or honorable enough to sit in front of the people and sit in front of the parents of potential children that may potentially go to your school, how in the hell are we going to trust you to educate, take care of, and put your arm around our baby so that they're taken care of properly? How do you answer that? And for our supporters, I simply ask you, why don't you ask him that? Because a lot of people get on us. As soon as it came out, apologize. Listen, we were supporters. We wanted it to open. Like you said, we got platforms. If he wanted to call us the first time the video came out, damn it, you saw it. You saw it. So if the first time the video came out, if you gave you a call, a text message, Instagram, whatever the case may be, and just settled it down as a leader of men and as somebody that we had supporting once and said, listen, I got the school. Here's X, Y, and Z. I love to sit down and talk with y'all. You might have had a check from the Uncensored Truth podcast, or God knows what, in
Yeah,
support.
definitely.
Because we were waiting. We wanted to. Couldn't wait. We were prideful when we heard about the school. You're not honorable. You don't answer. You don't hold anything accountable. All you do is divide, and then get mad when we ask questions.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Definitely. But the phone lines are open, man. It's 609-232-2142. If you want to, give your opinion. I want the Umar supporters to call in and say, it was a guy that kept hitting me up, named Willie. He said, yeah, man, we got the school now, this, that, and where are you at? Call into the show and defend him. I told the brother to come on the show. We got a call? All right,
yes, we do.
Yeah, it's a little feedback playing through.
Call from
Winkler.
to accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hey, peace. You're on the Uncensored Truth podcast. Name your name and city, brother.
Dennis Winkler, Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. How you doing, peace fan? What's your question or comment this evening?
Oh, greetings. I didn't know it was on already. I think it's pretty interesting that Dr. Johnson is still using the same figure he used several years ago. He said he's been consistently collecting money. It was at the $700,000 mark a few years back. He said he's still at $700,000. I think that needs to be in question. Two, if you put down $10 for a deed, I teach real estate investment. Then normally that's creative financing. And if you have the cash, there's no need to creatively finance it if you got it for the money and you said you still had money over. So there's some things that don't really add up. $10 deed, that's common in real estate. That's common when you're doing creative financing and when someone's holding a note. So it's not adding up. And as far as if I think he's going to open a school, he could open a school, because opening a school is just like any minister who's taking the money from our people. You actually can begin to exploit people more. You can begin to do more things when you begin to have something to speak for you. So if he has a school, like right now, everybody's saying, look, basically, shut up. He has a school. So now even the people who once doubted him are now back on the bandwagon, even though it's not making any sense at all.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. I do remember you, your name, brother Winkler. So I appreciate you, calling in with that, brother. Definitely.
Thank you very much, brother.
No problem, brother. Peace out.
Y'all take care.
Yeah, man. We want the people to call in, man. Again, the Umar supporters. Maybe see them in the comment section. People, thought they wanted to send us personal messages to Instagram and Twitter, and so we want to hear you guys call it and show us, because it was one guy who showed me that he said, y'all tripping. Umar is showing the people the plan behind the scenes, the people that donated. That's what the guy told me. I don't know how true it is. You know what I mean? I doubt if it's true, because Umar's father said that he donated and he don't even know what's going on.
I seen somebody in the comment, Thomas Jones, I believe his name was, I wasn't sure. He said that we were divisive and things like that. I think I seen him in the chat room. I would love for him to call in and give his perspective as well. But we got another call from Texas.
Call from
divisive.
to accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hey, peace. Good evening. You're on the Uncensored Truth podcast live. What's your name and where you from, brother?
Peace. This is Lance. I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I'm calling from El Paso, Texas right now. I wanted to bring a couple of things. Excuse me. I wanted to bring a couple of things to the forefront. Now, I understand everybody's suspicion. I'm not saying that they have no reason to be suspicious. However, what I will say is that there's not a whole lot of people who are familiar with the process of doing what he's doing specifically. A lot of people are jumping to conclusions to say, oh, he's probably doing this or he's probably doing that. From where I come from, you don't make an accusation that casts any aspersions on someone's reputation if you don't have proof. So, and proof is not, oh, I can't find this company because maybe the people who update the database didn't get around to it yet. You don't know how many companies were created that then turns around and needs to be updated in this database. So you don't know how frequently they do their databases. There's quite a few different things that could be going on. So I would say if you're going to cast aspersions on his reputation, have some documented proof that he's misappropriated funds.
I appreciate your comment, family. I got to rebuttal that real quick if you don't mind me asking.
Absolutely.
You got
what? Go ahead. No.
So when are we allowed to hold our people in that kind of position, a position where he wants to take care of our children and teach our children? How long is enough time to hold him accountable and at least start asking him as far as where's the money, where's the plan? Because we were told a number of times, years after years, and whether you say it's 10 years, 6 years, 4 years, whatever the number, it's been a very long time. Enough time to at least ask a question. So my question to you, fam, is how enough time is enough time?
If honestly, to be quite frank, it should have already happened. But if people's opinion or assumption is he's committing some sort of federal crime, which is the indication here, then I don't see why people haven't called the FBI and had them investigate the situation. I mean, that's basically what you're doing, is accusing them of a federal crime. And there are people that are in place to investigate those type of things. So what I don't like is just to see maybe y'all are wrong. I mean, maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wrong, the damage that you did to someone who could have made some change may be irreparable and irreversible. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking up for him because he hasn't done what he's supposed to do in terms of, being transparent. But I'm going to say, let's not jump to accuse him of wrongdoing. Maybe he's just handling things the wrong way.
Right. Go, Brother Khan, so I see you. Go ahead and answer that. The phone number is 609-232-2142. I see
I just wanted to say quickly, if this was Umar Johnson, he'd be all over this. Umar Johnson's lectures, I've been to his lectures, consist of him exposing people. So that's absolutely contradictory to what the platform stands for when it comes to Umar Johnson. So now when the rabbits got the gun, now it's a problem. When you put yourself out there in the public, when you charge thousands of dollars to appear in impoverished neighborhoods, travel across the world, your fees are exuberant, then you should be held to a higher level of scrutiny. If he wants to be a professional, if he wants to call himself the greatest scholar known to mankind, you got to be careful what you say out your mouth. He said these things. He is the present day greatest black scholar known to mankind. He's comparing himself to Frederick Douglass. So if he's that kind of level, he's on that kind of level, he's got to be a stately person that is exemplary in how he operates. And it's obvious that he's not.
I hate to jump in, man, but I saw it like in the comments, somebody said, do they go by this? Does this happen with the regular school, with public schools? Actually, yes, it does. It's called a school board. And so the school board, when teachers need raises, principals need raises, people need raises, they need to hire somebody. You have to go in front of the school board. The school board has to vote on this stuff. So no, it's a higher level of scrutiny. We're asking for just basic things that someone would ask for in business.
And you have now 10 years from when he said he would lay the groundwork, and about 6 years when he started, he announced that a school will be open in 2013. And I think 4 or 5 years since he's been collecting the money, just to put, perspective on the timeline. Some people say more, some people say less or whatever, but we'll put it right in the middle.
Indeed. We got another caller right now, so I'll bring him right in.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Peace, you're live with the Uncensored podcast. Name your name and city.
Supreme, Buffalo, New York.
Supreme, peace. What's good with you, man? State your comment or your question, brother.
Peace to the brothers, peace to the people. I don't really have a question, just more of a comment. It's like just the fact that the brother Umar Johnson has exhibited what his personality is on so many occasions. I'm baffled by the fact and kind of saddened by the fact that he has one single supporter among the original people, among black people. I think it's a true indicator that the Christian and otherwise religious mindset is so deeply rooted
inside of us that we're so waiting for a Messiah that we overlook almost anything. For anybody of sound mind to take a look at when that brother went off on the other brother's setting, to look at that man and also be able to even fathom him being a servant of the people, it's anti-mathematics, it's anti-logic. It's insanity. And then moving on to the school thing, if you watch the videos of this brother inside the school by himself, he has no team. There is no one else present. There are no witnesses. This is a great accomplishment for anyone, even to get your foot in the door on such a venture. There would be someone to stand by, to celebrate, to rejoice, to stand there in your corner just to show the people that this is legitimate. I believe what happened was the clock was ticking on that financial situation, and that brother was about to have to answer. So running off with the bag, basically, and he had to make another move to try to preserve the situation for as long as it can. And just to watch it, there's nothing genuine inside of it. That man is not a servant of the people. That man is a servant of himself. You can see that. He reminds me of a lot of brothers I know in the hood. And game is game. If you fall for it, it's on you. Umar's essentially doing nothing wrong. He's putting the game out there for you. And if you can't see through it and you fall for it, that's on you.
And man, I couldn't have said that better myself, Supreme. Yeah, we appreciate that comment. That's 100%. I couldn't agree more, man. Floor that. Appreciate your call, brother.
Yes, sir. Hit that like button.
Thing out here. Peace.
Now, peace to you, fam.
Yes,
We're going to
sir.
get to the calls, man, because we see them flowing in. You got to apologize. I see y'all asking, but there's so many coming through.
Yeah.
As you come through, we'll grab the calls, but y'all keep calling because we want to talk about it. But go ahead, okay?
Yes, sir. But hit that like button as you're coming into the building. Hit the like button and make sure that you share this video. We in the building today, man, talking about the Umar Johnson situation. So if you want to, give your opinion or ask a question, the phone number is 609-232-2142. The number will be in the chat momentarily.
Supreme just kicked a lot of game in that comment he just said. But one thing in particular he said was he thought that GoFundMe was on his ass. And now it was time to pony up. And that's a lot of what you were saying.
They started issuing
conversations.
Yeah.
And it had to go down. All right, we got another caller. Bring them in.
To accept, press 1. To send.
Peace, you're live on the Uncensored Truth podcast. State your name and your city.
This is Kay. I'm currently staying in PA. I want to say, first of all, shout out to both of you dudes doing your thing on the podcast or whatever y'all want to call it. You feel me? They're doing a great thing. With regards to the Umar Johnson thing, I'm a little bit kind of shocked by the whole situation because I had known about this dude for like maybe 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a child that had, I was on the borderline. Should I have him classified? Should I have him take an IEP? And so me being online, watching YouTube, I was like, Umar Johnson sounds right. Like all of our black boys, being classified with ADHD, this and this and that. And so the dude seemed very credible, right? But check me out, you know what I'm saying? And give me a little bit of time with this shit. Excuse my language.
No, you go, fam. Do your thing.
But yo, you gotta check the reasoning out on this joint. Like, literally, whoever that, I guess she's a person, I don't know, of your podcast. Her name is Anti-Afro Bengalis. I recently learned of her today. I was in the house, kind of sick from work. And I've been on YouTube all day. I just found out about this lady. I have a background in social work, right? And so if you look at her videos going back, like just 2 or 3 weeks ago, when she talks about professional therapists, like the language that this dude uses is completely against the code of ethics of either profession. Like in order for you to be like, I don't know, he's claiming to be like a psychiatrist and all that, but I have an MSW, right? So in order to have that's a master's level social worker, right? Or the other way is a LPC, a licensed professional counselor. So in order for you to even have any foundation of skills or ethics and even being a therapist, you have to have that graduate level of education and licensing. if you listen to her video, her YouTube views, and just listen and go back and listen to how he, his verbiage, how he communicates, it's not professional at all. So I question everything. Again, shout out to you guys. I just want to put that out there. I like to remain private, but this is really a big deal in the community and the hoods because it affects us, bro. Like, you got Trump out here with all this wild stuff, and now the fakery of us having a black school. I was really into this. Like I said, I was considering contacting this man 3 years ago for advice about, should I have my son evaluated by the school? And now I hear this, and it'll be interesting to see what his response is. Again, people, I'm back off this phone, and I'm clocking back in to see what's up. Thank y'all, guys.
Yo, man, great call, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. But we got it lit tonight. Call back in. Any other brothers, real quick, before we get any callers, want to elaborate on anything? The floor is open for any of you brothers. Good. Cool. Well, the phone number is, we'll take a few more calls, 609-232-2142. Please call in. Oh, there we go right there.
My bad, brother. We got another call. Let's take that. Peace, Ray. I heard your name. You're live on the Uncensored podcast. Family, was good with you.
What's good, man? I'm calling out of Colorado.
Dope. Well, you out there living that good life. What kind of loud you smoking on right now, brother? It's like...
At work.
Oh, word. Nah, man, what's your comment, brother?
No, man, I'm actually a Umar supporter, man. Everybody was on here talking about Umar, where's the school at? Then when he actually produces a school, everybody's still doubting him. He already produced the school. He's saying he needs money to help rehab the school. And he said this before. His goal was to raise $2 or $3 million. He got $750,000. He didn't even have to tell us that. He verbally told us how much money he had, so he is disclosed how much money he had. He's not keeping everything a secret. What do you guys think about that?
Oh God, you want to elaborate?
No, that's not true. That was 3 years ago when he said he had $750,000. And why would you want to keep? Why?
Right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But he said it. Did he have to tell you that?
Yeah, he actually does. He's supposed to have a nonprofit. He's supposed to be accountable. He's supposed to be accountable. He's supposed to be accountable to the people. If you take money from people to do something, you're supposed to be accountable to those people. Everything is supposed to be lined up. What you're going to do with the money? He said he got a building, but he won't even show you how much he paid for the building. You get what I'm saying? So what are you trying to hide? What's the hide? Can you answer that?
He doesn't have to tell you how much he paid for the building.
Yes, he does.
His building is his. He's buying it. He's doing it.
No, it's not. The people are buying it. The people's money is buying it.
People are buying it?
Absolutely.
Well, that's why he's asking for donations, sir. Why else would he ask for donation? He either
his school. It's his school. He can't. Umar, the reason why he wanted the $2 million, is because he didn't want to go through the banks, because then he'll have regulations on him. Like he said, he don't even want white people teaching in his school. So he kind of needed to pay cash for his school.
Okay.
Nobody's thinking about what he's trying to teach in his school.
Well, what teachers would he pay to teach them? How would they get financed? How would the lunch ladies get financed? How would the janitors get financed? Are you assuming right now, because you're saying that we're supposed to celebrate that he opened a school, but sir, he didn't open a school, he bought a building, and we're not even sure if he bought that building yet. He rented it and things like that, but it's cool. He got the building. Let's celebrate that. Are you under the assumption that he is going to realistically have children in this school to educate? Or does he have to, in your opinion?
By August 19th.
Yeah, he needs to have kids in here to educate.
Okay, I'm glad that we came to that conclusion. He needs. So you, as a Umar supporter, you're stating right now that man needs to have children in that school to educate. I think we could both agree. So now my question to you is, when do you think he'll realistically have children in that school?
It matters if he can come up with the rest of this money. Nobody wants to support him. Everybody thinks he's a fraud, but you already given him.
So after you give him the $1 million, hold on, let's talk numbers real quick. Hold on. At $1 million is just for the renovations, right? So what do you do after that? How do you pay the teachers? The average salary for Delaware teachers is $60,000, right? So if you just get 10, that's 600,000 a year. Where's that money come from? You're going to keep asking the people for more and more money. So you're going to ask for money again after you get to school. Now you ask for more money. That's why it has to be lined out on the books. What's going to be done? Projection year 1, 2, 3, 4. This is some nigga shit, man. Period.
No, man.
He's not thinking this through like a businessman.
No, there is a tuition to enroll your child in the school. That's what pays for the school. And when you start a school, you don't start a school with all 5 or 10 grades. You start with 1 grade and you keep going up from there. What are you talking about? You think you're going to go to the school for free?
No, but how much is that going to be for the people that it goes? But we appreciate your call, man. Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah.
Woo.
Let's go out of here.
Hey, man, call some. We got another caller in.
Yeah.
Let's get him in here.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Peace, you're live. What's your name? Where you from?
Oh, my name is Missy, and I'm from Georgia.
Mitzi from Georgia.
I'm by way of Texas. Yeah.
How you doing this evening? Well, what's your comment? What's your question?
Okay, my comment is, okay, if Umar is supposed to have all of these credentials, all of these degrees and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Why is it that he's begging people for money? Someone in that type of network, don't you think they would have like investors or something when somebody wants to do something like that? And if he has degrees, last time I checked, a psychologist or a psychiatrist, they make good money, right? So I'm not understanding why people don't see that this guy is a fraud. It's not making no sense to me, right? Like, how does that work?
And that's another thing that I was asking myself, and I didn't even really want to get into this, but you said it, and it kind of just sparked my attention. First off, we all know that man's ego. We know that man's ego. So if he were to have some kind of degree, some kind of recognition, that'd be plastered everywhere. The fact that you don't see it kind of makes me wonder on the psyche of this man, or is it anything that he's saying legitimate? Because if he had it, he's showing it. The second he had that video ready, he showed it. So the second he has things available, he's going to show it. So why not show your documentation proving that you are who you are?
Right, and we folks asked about this years ago, and he never showed it. So that's my whole thing. And like he's just to me, the guy is a fraud. I don't see how people can do it. Like I just don't see how people don't see it. That's all I have to say. Is like I want people to open their eyes. Like if somebody say they this and they got all these degrees and all this stuff, where is your money? That's what I'm trying to see. Because last time I checked, like I say, doctors make things. No matter what kind of, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have some money. So that's my opinion. That's what I have to say about that.
Great comment. We appreciate your call. Thank you very much for the support. Georgia in the building. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Tony Brown. Now, I remember Tony Brown called us the C word. He called us a coon, man, when we dropped the announcement. So I would love for him to call in because he said, yeah, Tony Brown. I would love for him to call in and give his perspective because I mean, he wanted
to talk a lot of shit. I see him.
You know, so just you're more than welcome to call in if you may. But what else we got to go?
Yeah, man, hit the like button in the building, man. Yeah, you're welcome to call in. We'll take a few more calls. You got right there. There you go.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2. Call from
David.
My bad. Y'all got to call back. I think David from Colorado tried to call again.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man. If that wasn't it, my fault. But let's give it one more call. My fault on that.
It's all good.
Let's get another call in there.
Yeah, man. So here we are, people. I mean, if you want to, donate your money, into a project, where somebody's not going to be accountable and show you what they're doing with the money, be more than welcome to do so. But, us, as guys having, businesses, we would rather, put our money in, more fertile ground, man. I would love to help Dr. Umar Johnson. You know what I mean, with the school, but he just hasn't been transparent enough, for me to put any of my money into that at this point.
Nah,
you know what I mean,
and we wish he was.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's far too late. And we have no problem with anything that we're humble about everything that we give. And we understand the power of donation and giving back. And we love children. We take care of children. We love the football leagues. We love the basketball leagues. We got children involved in these leagues. So anytime that we have the opportunity to support, it's a no-brainer. And like we said, we've been supported of this man, a lot longer than myself. And when we are allowed to have the opportunity to support, why wouldn't we? to an honorable man, opening up a school for black boys, given the reputable accolades that he put himself on. Why wouldn't we want to support something like that?
Yeah.
Why would we want to question that? That's why it took us 10 years to answer the question. But I'm gonna put this call in.
Yeah, real quick, man.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother Darren.
You got to remember, man. He's somebody. We're asking for it. He's kept trying to get our children.
Right. Go ahead, Darren.
No, he's trying to get our children. So that's like saying to somebody who's going to be your babysitter, hey, I'm not going to tell you everything about what I'm going to do and where I'm from. Nah, man, you're asking to have my child, man, 8 hours out the day. And you don't want to show me something as simple as where $20 went?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's be for real, man. Cut the bullshit, man.
You can't trust him. You can't trust him with your kids if he's not going to even be to show you something that simple or where the finances of the school was going. How in the hell would you trust him with your children all day? Let alone just, overnight, what you wanted to initially do, a residential school. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. We got a Peace. You're live on the Uncensored podcast. State your name and your city.
Brothers, this is Corey, Chicago.
Corey from Chicago.
How brothers doing?
Peace, family. How are you, man? Good, man. What's your comment or your question, big dog?
I just got a comment. I just found out about Umar sometime last year. Summertime, I ain't heard nothing about him. My brother started telling me about him. So I started listening to him. He's a good speaker, man. Gets the gas. But right off top, I knew he was a fraud. I'm from Chicago, just like old boy Justice Smollett. We know. Game recognized game. And he just proved my point as I continue to watch him. I continue to listen to him because I get information from him. Good information, quality facts. But he's a scam artist, man. And I don't see how these conscious woke people don't see that. That's all I got to say, brother. Shout in the house.
Always in the building. We appreciate your call, fam. Thank you for calling. We'll take one more call real quick. But any of the panelists, Consu, you want to give your perspective of anything you heard so far, anything you feeling?
Hey, man, just like the brother from Chicago just said, a preacher knows a player and the player knows a pimp. So it ain't no difference between none of them. And we're not going to apologize for being able to count apples, man, and oranges.
Right.
In 2019, that we got to apologize for scrutinizing business. That is just absolutely ludicrous. It just makes no sense. Oh God, I like what you said earlier, man. It makes absolutely no sense that we got to be apologetic for being intelligent, man. We adult men, we in our mid-30s, early 40s, and we are supposed, I guess, to be ignorant fools. And it just absolutely makes no sense, man. This so-called consciousness is perpetuating foolishness, man. And we know this is a scam, man. We know that.
Yeah, man. I think that, you, at the end of the day, the choice is yours. You could choose to support, and at this point, we could sit there and be loud, or we could just quietly just let him fade away and allow whatever's going to happen to him, or you can continue to support, and hopefully you get what you want, because at the end of the day, if a school is open, that'd be great. Now, whether that man needs to be in charge of it, I question that highly, because of his actions and the history that he's shown throughout the years. I don't think he's properly in a position to educate any child or properly lead any child. That's just my opinion. But if a school was open for all black boys to be able to go in there and just get the education that we need, real education, financial wealth, financial literacy, knowing who we are when we sit in them history books and don't have to sit there and look like and feel like we're inferior, that would be something ideal. Let's take one last call from Miami, Florida this evening. Peace, family. You're live on the Uncensored Truth podcast. State your name and your city.
Kevin from Miami.
Kevin from Miami. How you doing, fam? What's your comment or your question?
I appreciate you guys. I listened to you guys for a long time, first time calling. I think that for the most part, I think it's something wrong with us as a people, as black people, where we always looking for somebody black to do something, and we don't realize it doesn't have to be someone black. And when they do something, we go 100 degrees either direction, in full support or negativity. And I think you guys are great for bringing a lot of light on a lot of different things. And I think for the most part, my question is this: where do you think we go from here?
That's a great question. I will
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's a like I was saying before, I've been disappointed because me personally, my personal stories, I looked up to Umar a lot. You know what I mean? Coming up, you know, about 8-9 years ago, started following him. So my thing is just to try to be that man that I wanted those people to be, is just to become that person myself. And hopefully people around me could be those type of guys, because to continue to start to look at people like that and be disappointed over and over, I'm done with it. So now it's time for us to take our, you know, me and us, you know, to take our, you know, prospective places as, you know, leaders.
And that leadership, yeah, I agree. And that leadership could fall into any kind of seat that it may fall in. All of us aren't great orators. All of us aren't going to build schools. All of us aren't going to do the things that Umar Johnson may have claimed to do. But if we can all just be great in our own lanes, and be humble in our own lanes and water the root, as opposed to sitting there and trying to flower this or water the flower, and really start it from the ground up, I think we could start some legitimate change. And this starts as far as where we're going to go is fixing Black people as a whole. It's going to start individually within each pod of our own households, because there's a lot that needs to be fixed within our households. And I think it's going to be a long way, but I like you said, brother, I think that we can't sit there and look to one leader, or we just always want to find that praising or that one that's going to just take us to the promised land. She ain't there. That ain't it.
Well, and then I think what my point too was that we always look for a Black person, right? And even through the civil rights movement, you had all different shapes and sizes, different colors of people. And I think when we get somebody, especially in this day and age where people know how to talk a certain kind of way, and they tickle our ear a little bit, and they look a kind of way, they're presentable, and we just disregard all our good common sense when it comes to business, when it comes to anything. If it's pro-Black, we go crazy. It's too many people, the Jay Morrisons. And when you start questioning stuff, you look like the bad guy, which it doesn't make sense, because if that person was white, you would have logical questions that you would want answers, and we don't do that. It just doesn't make sense.
Great question. Oh, great comment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for your call, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. You want to take one more?
Oh, yeah. You know what?
We'll take one more, and then we'll close out. Let the brothers give their final statements. We'll move out of here.
Make sure you call in. We're taking one more in the building. Make sure you drop your area codes as you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast. We appreciate everyone engaged right now, watching, listening. Chat room, I heard, is on crazy. I ain't really got to look in there too often, but
yeah, they've been rocking out.
Appreciate.
But we're going to culminate, man. We're going to be pretty much done with it after this. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens. We wish the project much success, but I won't be involved.
Fact.
To accept, press 1. To send a
Peace. You're live with the Uncensored Truth podcast. Name, state your name and your city. All right, sorry, brother, we can't hear you. I'm gonna have to move on.
Yeah.
Call from
Vegan Dilemma.
to accept, press 1. To send a
Hey, peace. You're live with the Uncensored Truth podcast. State your name and your city.
Hey, Vegan Dilemma calling out of Atlanta.
Vegan Dilemma. Peace. That name sounds real familiar, man. How you doing?
I've been in the chat.
Dope.
Very good.
Dope, man. What's your question, your comment?
I want to thank you, brothers, for carrying on this coverage of this issue. I hope you can continue to do it and see it to the end. I got just a few points I want to make, just to plant the seed among folks who are chatting in the video and the live stream, and something that you guys can carry on in terms of investigation. One, ownership of the records, but the ownership records still haven't changed for this building. K12 is still listed as the owner, so that means that he hasn't closed on this building or he's renting it. Keep in mind also that K12, they're in the business of propping up educational institutions, either as a franchise or as some type of subsidiary or a leasing partner of K12. So Umar, I believe, could be licensing the building under the K12 banner, but not wanting to disclose that for fear of having backlash that it's not true Pan-Africanism, that it's under essentially the white man's thumb if it's through K12. And then last, think about the neighborhood. Umar is going to have to charge tuition for the school, which means that folks are going to have to abandon public school which is, no cost to many of the residents to pay Umar tuition. If you look at the quality of the neighborhood and the number of sexual predators that are registered in that neighborhood, that is not the type that is going to have a large conversion of folks coming out of public school to go into a private institution. So that's all I want to say. Again, thank you for this coverage and keep it up.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And I do want to talk about that too. That was a stat too. In that area where that school is, you got about 272 sex offenders within a mile radius of that school, according to the public record. You know what I mean? So that's, R. Kelly picking ground. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? And we didn't even talk. It's a lot of things that we could have went into. The transportation. You want kids to come from Jersey, Pennsylvania. Transportation is a lot of money. You got to fuel the buses. You got to pay the bus companies. And there's a lot of different things that go into this, man. It'll take us 8 hours to really, sift through this the right way.
Well, the list could go on and on, oh God, about
Right.
how many things can raise up. But then at the end of the day, we look like haters or we look like this. We wanted to have an open, real dialogue or conversation with both the supporters and everything and lay the facts on the line and lay some numbers on the line. And you see the business CEOs, Brother Kansu and Brother Darren, exceptional commentary this evening that gave their perspective and their feeling involving this situation as black men and black businessmen. And we just wanted to give an open dialogue and a real conversation, whether you support them or not. If you do support them, I really genuinely ask you to sit there and at least privately hold that man accountable, as opposed to using your energy to spare people who have legitimate questions. Because not all black men sitting here questioning Umar Johnson or Coons. Come on, man, he's not that serious. The reason why we're sitting here holding him accountable because as he said he was opening a school, and not only did he say it, he began taking people's money to do so. You deserve to be held accountable.
And himself, just real quick, used to always say that he would always measure himself by other leaders. You know what I mean? And he gave prerequisites of what leaders should be. I remember the speech a long time ago. He said courage, have a commitment, you know what I mean? Consciousness, and a few other things that he said. So it's like this dude is totally not living by, what he said out of his own mouth that he should do with the people's money. And it's real sad, man. And, I withdrew my support, and at this point I'll stay over here with that. I'm cool moving forward at this point.
That's the truth. Me too, man.
But yeah, I'll let the brother Darren and then Kansu, your brothers close out, man, and we're gonna get out of here tonight, man. Go ahead, brother Darren, you got it.
You got to remember, man, that these are our children, and what's most important is our children and who we entrust our children to. Someone says that they're going to be a role model. They're going to be the person that's going to lay out the groundwork and how these young black men are going to be the leaders and business leaders of tomorrow. We have to hold them to a higher level of standard. We have to hold them to a higher level of accountability. After that, all I gotta say is reparations 2020, man.
Yeah, I think we are suffering from an identity crisis in America. Black people, we took the term black in the 1960s as a term of endearment to organize us around a purpose. But we definitely need to identify ourselves more specifically and have a design purpose as we progress in America throughout 2019. I think that with Brother Umar Johnson, he has to be held accountable. We have no options and no choice but to do that. The average median black family is worth $1,600 in America today, where the average median white family is worth $12 million. Yeah, absolutely. And when I'm talking collective numbers, over 85% of black men have either been incarcerated or have a jail record. We do not have the ability to generate wealth. When we generate $1.2 trillion and only pull less than 0.5% of what we generate, we are not natural consumers. We operate under byproducts, and we're always being sold something. We don't have the ability to create entities like private schools where it's obvious this man is going to have to charge the same people he claims he's going to emancipate. And we don't have the income to pay you, Umar. What single mother or single father has the money to pay you to become a revolutionary? It makes absolutely no sense. It is corporate marketing. It is absolutely asinine what we're doing. We have to start focusing on creating an identity as Black Americans, and we got to start doing it. So peace and power to you guys.
Absolutely. I want to say I definitely appreciate, these brothers, man, Brother Kansu and Darren for staying on the panel for so long. Saying, man, appreciate you. as well, man. It's another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast, in the books, man. Every Friday night, 8 p.m. You can catch us live all throughout the week. We're definitely dropping, content and whatnot. So go ahead and drop your channel though, Consul, so people can follow you. I know people want, and Darren, you do the same. Go ahead, brother, where people can find you.
Yeah, Darren Marion or Blurred Planet. So Blurred Planet. Blurred is black nerd, man. It's with form of the black intelligentsia. So we believe everybody's a nerd, man, because everybody knows a lot about something. So we have some videos with Umar on the channel. We got videos anti-Umar on the channel. We want to present a balanced focus. And that's all I got, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, tune in. You can catch me, Kansu Sheshmu Amun, on YouTube, Blurred Planet as well. You can catch me there. You can catch me on Facebook, Kansu Sheshmu Amun. So that's what it is, guys.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great, great night, man. We appreciate, the supporters and even, people who want to just call in to give their opinion tonight. And with that being said, that's all I got, Sam, man.
Yeah, real quick before we get out of here. Whether you stuck around, whether you supported Umar, whether you don't, whether you support us or whether you don't, if you stuck around for this conversation, you engaged in the chat room, we appreciate you. We always do. Like Oga said, we'll be back Monday giving you nonstop content, episode 117 in less than a year. It's a reason why we are. We humbly just continue to knock out content and the best that we can. We appreciate y'all support. See y'all Monday.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.